Welcome to 2026. The K-shaped economy is widening.
Hmm.
What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Buzz Bottom Line, the first episode of 2026. Happy New Year. Hope it was great. Everybody had a good time. Everybody stayed safe. And here we are with the new year began. And Friday's trade was fairly mixed after a relatively mixed end of the year, but obviously another big gain for the year. We'll get more into that in our market report. But the K-shaped economy is widening. The lower end of the K, which is the part we need to do better, is doing worse. We continue to see struggles from the middle class, and the obviously the upper end of the K is thriving in this environment. Not very good, and it's showing how blind our Federal Reserve is, how blind our government is to the actual facts at hand and what's going on. Again, inflation is out of control. We have all kinds of issues to deal with, which obviously this year and every other day we'll cover them, but it isn't looking very pretty. It has nothing to do with whether the stock market's going to go up or down right now. All it's got to do with is the pure facts that people are starving and creating more debt. It's a big problem, okay? Especially now that you have credit card companies facilitating, borrowing money that people cannot never pay back and spreading out their payments until 2027, 2028 now, because of course all you're doing is building massive amounts of debt. And of course, if you're not aware, you cannot go bankrupt on a credit card company. So we have this massive mess being created. And of course you have imbeciles in office, starting in New York. Kathy Hochul finally caved in on letting the no tax on tips part of the big beautiful bill go. I mean, again, we shouldn't have to pay as much tax as we do. Okay, whether you, in general, you live in any state, or of course in the highest tax states of Illinois, California, New York, Connecticut, and others, they shouldn't have to pay those kind of taxes. But again, it's irresponsible government spending, ridiculous programs for illegals, for welfare, and things that should not be a part of it. And of course, we all know what's going on in Minnesota with the Somalians. And of course, you know who set that up. And that was, of course, President Obama, who made all that possible to happen. So again, if we had a little bit more fiscal responsibility from our government, and it doesn't matter, I don't care which side you are, Republican or Democrat, you can pick your side. They are both equally irresponsibly spending our money. Okay. And as I say this almost every week, government doesn't make money, government makes debt. Okay. Uh, so now you have the DOJ eyeing the vouching system for voter registration in Minneapolis and Minnesota. Really? I can vouch for you. You can vouch up to 8 individuals. You wonder why we have a problem when you need an ID for everything except to vote. Now that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Okay. To me, we have a very serious problem in this country, from the divide of the two parties, to the divide of the citizens, to the things that we let pass. And really, it doesn't help any of you. So whichever side you side on, it doesn't help you when your government steals your money. Okay. Uh, I mean, you've got, the push for censorship on campuses. It was the highest level in 2025. What happened to the First Amendment? What happened to free speech? Again, we're not talking about hate speech. We're talking about free speech. Okay, the right to express oneself. Again, I don't want understand it. Um, the Fed minutes show concern over upside risk to inflation. We've been talking about this for months. Okay, that the Fed cutting rates was stupid. Okay, it does not translate and does not help the average person. Okay, and it only is going to do is going to make inflation rise. Well, that's exactly what's happening. So now, after their minutes, they finally say, "Well, maybe." And again, you have to look at the bigger picture. Okay, that there's no jobs now. You may be a fan of AI, but AI is costing you more money for electricity. It's costing you more money to live. It's destroying your brain, turning it into mush because people don't know how to think anymore. Okay, and it's destroying jobs. Okay, again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but we have to figure out a way to make it work for everybody so that those who are losing their jobs, they have to have something. And certainly we don't want to go to universal basic income because that's going to cost us, the taxpayer, more money. So I think there has to be a solution somewhere out there. Okay, I think that as we look, you have Social Security tracking to run out of money in 6 years. Now, what is Congress going to do? That's the real question. Now they're going to have to do something. Okay. Now the simple solution would be to change the dynamics and change retirement age. Okay, but of course, no politician wants to do that because, of course, they've campaigned on those things, and of course, but certainly you could start by saying if you're 20 years old or under, 21, whatever, pick a number. Okay, your Social Security, your retirement age doesn't start until 75 or 80. That was the whole design of Social Security in the first place. I mean, it's a socialist program, but it was designed that more people would be dead than they wouldn't collect. So you wouldn't run out of money. Well, we're living a lot longer. We've never made the adjustment to the age far enough to the amount that we're living. So we need to change the program. Okay. But of course, again, these assholes looking for their votes, that's what's important to them, not the money, the assholes looking for votes, because then they take all the money and again, you look at any politician that was in office, that left office. Nancy Pelosi was worth 3 million when she went in, worth 153 million when she went out. You tell me, okay? Uh, I think you're seeing it. This is going to be a big year, I think, for the prediction markets, Kalshi and poly markets and things like that. Basically, you can bet on just about anything, okay? And it's legal in most states because it's not under the gambling; it falls under the CFTC. So if you're in a state that doesn't have gambling that you want to gamble, okay, you can go to Kalshi or places like that, these prediction markets, because those are considered under the sweepstakes under the CFTC. So I think that it's an issue. I think it's good. I think again, free market progress is good, and of course, you've got the the Miami potentially dethroning New York City as the financial capital of the world. That makes sense to me. Miami or Texas, why not? Okay, I mean, why does New York have to be the capital anymore? There is no more New York. It is no more what it was. It's not, again, New York and Chicago, they don't need to be in those places anymore. Okay, the exchanges in Chicago, they've moved out a long time ago. Okay, they have a presence in Chicago, and I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a presence in New York, but shouldn't the capital be somewhere where it's fairly priced and there's taxes and the whole deal? I mean, think about it. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way I think about it. And this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 4th. We're going to step out here for a break. We'll be back with our market report right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. What's up, kids? Happy New Year. Welcome back. And of course, we have sponsors for the program, and they are brokerage partners. And just full disclosure, I do have other brokers, but these are the ones that I recommend very highly. And of course, Trader Brokerage is number one, by far the best in the industry. Look, again, it saves me $100,000 a year in the commission. They're $10 a month flat. Okay, they work with all of our automation, and they do everything works perfectly with them. They got great customer service. But just think about it, $10 a month from whatever you're paying right now. Okay. And of course, their information is flowing on the bottom. And of course, there's Capital Trading Group, which is our futures and commodities broker, and they do a lot of partnerships with us as well. Certainly, again, look, I have other brokers, but these are the ones I prefer, and these are the ones that get most of my trade and most of my money. The Joy of Mom, our investment and our partnership. It's an app and a website and a place for moms to discuss problems, to look for help, look for solutions. Check out the app, download it, and see what you think. And of course, our high school program, trying to educate our youth so we aren't in the same problems we are in right now. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bob Horowitz. Let's get back to our market report right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 4th, 2026. Happy New Year. Well, obviously the markets are only open one day into the new year, and they were higher, they were lower, they ended up kind of mixed on Friday. But I think that this year you'll see some action. I would expect it, in my view, I would expect to see a potential down year. I'm not calling for the major collapse. I think that you've had three consecutive double-digit gain years. Only once in history before this has you had four. But again, I'm not saying we can't go up. I don't make predictions. I just tell you what I think. I do think we're in for a pretty good sell-off, but we'll see. Again, we're not going to make any predictions. We'll just always give you our positions and what we are. And again, we don't try to predict. We just try to play the extension of the market. If it's overbought, we're going to sell it. If it's oversold, we're going to buy it. Precious metals should continue to rise. Again, I think they got a little carried away, and I think you saw that last week when silver traded up to $86 and before falling, and now it's back in the 70s. There's a lot of things going on out there. People are talking about the industrial use of silver, but gold has been crazy. Platinum has been crazy. A lot of things have been wacky. And of course, that is telling you that there's too much debt in this country, too much inflation, which is obviously fueling the precious metals. In the meantime, as we look at right down the line, the dollar, which is trading at 98 cents, we would be buyers of the dollar. We're sellers of the euro currency. Bonds and notes, we're looking for them to go much lower. I think interest rates are going to rise despite the Fed's bullshit. Bitcoin had a nice little move on Friday, but again, it's still stuck between 84 and 92,000. Gold had a little bit of a sell-off, but again, listen, it's at 4,300. And it would be no surprise that if this year it sees over 5 or 6,000. Again, but I wouldn't run out and buy it here. Silver, same story. I think it's going higher, and platinum, I think they're all going higher, but I don't think this is the right place to chase. I would expect a little bit of a pullback here. Copper is pushing up again, and holding above that 550 level. The grain markets are really in trouble. And if you're looking for a spot that you want to take a shot, that you want to gamble on a little bit, I think buying the grains is probably a pretty good do here. We are in danger of some stagflation, which would be the only crank, but that'll affect all markets. But I think that the grain markets, if we're going to get out of this, are going to be one of the leaders. I would certainly check it out. Cattle continues to push higher despite what we thought. Again, I don't know. I'd look to be a seller probably somewhere around 240 in cattle. I'd be a seller somewhere at 85 in hogs. Natural gas is lower again, back at that 360. I think 320 is about a spot you'd want to look at and potentially buy it. Crude oil, I think, is going below 50 this year, but to 55 is the next level. Again, I think you have to look at the bigger picture. Okay. The lack of demand for crude oil tells you that there's a problem. Okay. The lack of demand for crude oil tells you there's a problem. Okay. Low prices are good, but low prices are good when the economy is great. The economy sucks, and that's why the demand is low. So there's a lot of issues here that we continue to look at. High prices. And again, can the markets continue to go? Sure they can. But remember, the markets were basically directed by 4 or 5 or 6 companies the whole last year. If you look at the smooth index, if you take out those, it wasn't such a great year for everybody. So in the meantime, I think the markets are again ready for a little bit of profit taking, if anything, and we'll see. In the meantime, again, you know our positions and we give them to you every day. In the meantime, let's step out here for our final break on Bubba's Bottom Line here on Sunday, January the 4th, and we'll come back with our commentary right after the break. Well, kids, just remember, again, our sponsors, I might go through the whole thing, but Trader Brokerage, Capital Trading Group, The Joy of Mom, and of course, our high school program. And let's get back right to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, and of course, our commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 4th. And of course, as you know, every week I give you something I'm thinking about. And of course, this shit that's going on in Minneapolis and Minnesota. What a fucking shithole. I mean, this whole story with the Samayans, the illegals, and Tim Walz, who's a clown. Okay, this guy could have been your vice president. I mean, this is a joke. What is going on here? That you can vouch for voters, that they continue to have these daycare systems, that they're scamming the taxpayer, and all that money's going back to Al Shabeed. Are we losing our fucking mind? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Are you people in Minnesota losing your minds? Okay, aren't you going to stand up for this? Isn't it time? Isn't it time that Americans wake up? Okay, in general, across the country. Okay, and quit going the easy route. We have to fight for our freedom. Okay, are you not tired of your tax dollars going for things that have no benefit and no effect to you, and really no benefit to anybody else? Somebody's stealing the money. Okay. Are you not sick and tired of that? I know that I am. And I know that it's got to stop. Now, fortunately, I'm old, so it won't affect me as long. But I certainly, if you're young or you have children, grandchildren, I certainly feel for you. And that's today's Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. And of course, it is the end of the football season. We had an okay year after a bumpy start. not a lot to not a lot to talk about. I mean, the only thing that we really like today is the Dallas Cowboys, and that's just so that I think they want to be 500. In the meantime, have a great day, everybody. Happy New Year. Great to have you back, and we'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update, and of course every Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.